So, hello, Facebook family. Hello. We're going to have a very precise discussion this evening, as promised. And one of the things that we're going to be discussing is classism, how that impacts the progress of our community. And to help us host this enlightening conversation this evening, we're going to have community leader Tormel Pittman join us. Hello, Tormel. How are you today? Tormel, you have to unmute your mic. So silly, so silly. So,
What's going on, Nook? What's
listen,
going on, Mayor
Tormel,
Montague?
it's a privilege, right, to have you here in Newark to join us today. I love your robust conversations. And recently, so you was in Bridgewater. Just tell us a little bit about why, and just give us a synopsis on, how that went.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Okay. Which part? We've been in Bridgewater for a while now.
Yeah, so just fill us in. Yeah.
Well, for those who don't know, we're in Bridgewater because of the chip residue on my shirt. But we're in Bridgewater because of what transpired with the young man in the mall incident that happened where the young man fought and another young man, and the police intervened and ultimately assaulted one young man prior to apprehending the other one. So that's what led the demonstrations in Bridgewater.
Right.
Yeah.
So okay. So aside from that, right, we had a situation where we had Ben Crump. We saw Ben Crump there. We were able to see.
Well, no. That's the tail end. That was just a few days ago. There has been demonstrations all throughout the month. February. The young lady who's 16 years old, Tanea Durant. She hosted a demonstration, and for the teens and the youth and everybody, in the community to come out. So that was one of the first ones. There was a press conference 2 Saturdays ago. Was Lawrence Ham hosted, but Tanaya she had an event. So it was a few events prior to Wednesday's event.
Okay, so Tormel, for the listening audience, because sometimes like we're so cool, I kind of jumped the gun. Tell them like who you are, where you're from, and maybe what just motivated you to get involved with community activism.
I think activists are born, not created. I've been an activist, all my life, but I just realized that maybe 20 years ago. I started taking it seriously maybe 11, 12 years, 13 years ago. So, but my claim to fame was when a young man got killed in New Brunswick named Barry DeLoach. And, that's the third person killed by law enforcement in New Brunswick, officially.
Wow.
Yes, two black men and one black female. So, once Barry was killed, the city went through it. This is the third time. And, they did the same thing. So I did something different. So I stepped out, jumped in front.
Right.
And, that kind of, catapulted me into the activist realm, if you want to say.
Right.
But I've always been an activist and advocate. Even when I was doing wrong, I still was like, I had a level of activism with me. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said that there were several events there.
Yeah. Well, the young lady Tanea Durant, she hosted an event. It was kind of light. Crowd was light. It wasn't too many people. The Asian community, the Indian community, Indian have they have a population in Bridgewater. They hosted an event on a Saturday. So it was a few things going on. The press conference that Lawrence Ham had. So there was a few things going on in Bridgewater. They had a town hall meeting.
Right. I was able to see that. Able to see that, and just shout out to People's Organization for Progress for being a part of that movement. As always, they show up and make sure that they do what they're supposed to do. So how did this start? And when I say this, I'm talking about the video that went viral with Africa, and I think he goes by a different name now, Mayat.
Maz.
Yes, Maz.
Yes.
How did you guys collaborate to go down there? How did this all transpire? Because it was a very, very just awesome conversation that transpired, and it was a discussion that I think that needs to be had. And I know a lot of times when we have events that occur in our community, whether it's shootings or what have you, it is so challenging to get the press out and to be a part of, just the mass messaging of, hey, look what's happening in our community. So I think it was like really incredible that you guys were able to seize the moment to get that level of press and that level of coverage over the real issues that I feel in many ways impede the progress of African Americans here in the country of America. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, well, it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack with this situation here. I've been in these situations over and over again, and me and my and a few other brothers. What people don't realize is activists in New Jersey are all coming together. It's not just by accident. We're all supporting each other. All throughout the state. Right now, big brothers, Atlantic City, Jersey City, Newark, all over. The activists and grassroots advocates and community leaders are all banding together. So that was just a taste of what's about to come. That was just a little taste of what's about to come.
Wow.
Yeah. So we
sound of that.
Yeah. Oh, it's going down. Yeah. I touch bases. Me and my minds. We were communicating, and there was a flyer that came out.
Okay.
With, the young man Zakai Hussein, Reverend Bartley, Reverend Sharpton, and Benjamin Crump. They were all on the flyer, and so they're saying they're going to have a press conference Wednesday.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. So that jumped out.
Yeah.
And prior to that, there were multiple events, and everybody was catching like light crowds or whatever. It wasn't too heavy. The one event that Lawrence Hamm had press conference, it was okay. But after that, there were demonstrations and, not too many people showing up.
Right.
So when Wednesday came, everybody gave an excuse. They gave an excuse why they couldn't make it Saturday. They couldn't make it Monday after 3:00. They couldn't make it the following. So they always gave an excuse. But just so happened Wednesday, when Sharpton's going to be there, Benjamin Crump's going to be there, the press, all the press is going to be there. For some reason, everybody can make it out on this Wednesday at 12:00.
Okay, whatever works.
They couldn't make a Saturday, but okay, everybody's going to make it out this Wednesday at 12:00. And what happens is you got these do-gooders who, when things like this happen, they don't go to rallies. They only go to press conferences. You get it? Press conferences. They don't do rallies.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, what is the what is the factor that make sure that you have these names there? Because when you have these names, then the press is gonna be there. That the messaging is gonna get out in mass. Right. And that's what I wanted to know. Like, what?
The press, you may get some reporters. You may get lucky to get a news camera to come out during the rally, but more than likely at a rally, you just get the news papers out. You right. Don't get the actual the press media like Channel 7, Channel 2, Channel 11, You don't get those. Those they come out for press conferences. Right. And that's when all the pastors and the organizations and they all come out. So we were sick of it. We're like, no, because we were beating the streets
I'm sick
up.
Of it.
Yeah, we were beating the streets up, and they're like, you Negroes, I stay in the street. So when you make noise and you start to gain traction, they normally come and push you aside and say, we got it from here.
See, and the thing is, so many people are fed up.
And listen, wait, real quick.
Yeah.
This is actually how they work.
Wow. Yeah, I saw the outfits. I saw the outfits. And so this is a problem, right? Because it's so much here. And that's why I wanted to do a show on it. It's so layered. You come out to these events. You look really dapper. Like I think somebody made a reference about
what demands are you going to make with some Gucci loafers on in front of the police department.
Yeah, Gucci.
Now, you know, everybody who we're with, we got on boots, you know, pants, hoodies, scullies.
It indicates the divide, and that's the classism I'm talking about. It indicates the divide. You know, you have people who literally are living in urban communities now in the street. And you know, we have a wonderful community leader here, Manera Bomani. She said something that was so like just phenomenal to me recently. It was small, but she said, you know, shelters is not the same thing as housing people, you know. So people need housing. That should be a human right. And when they don't have housing and they don't have clean water and they don't have the adequate education in their schools and they don't have so many things that are essential, right? But then our leaders show up, like you said, with the goofy, you know, loafers and, you know, and they're looking good and they're looking great. And, you know, and they're, so you're making a statement that.
Well, here's the thing. They are saying that they're there to be bought simply by their attire alone. They're saying that, you know, we're here to play, negotiate. They don't have the attire. Say, for instance, we're at the police department, right? What if 15, 20 of those police officers came out with riot shields on and batons? Who was prepared to defend themselves? Right. See, they don't even expect it to go left because they know they are there to be bought. These are the faces that we want the department and the government to see. So when it's time to go sit down at the table, we'll be doing the negotiating. And we're saying, no, you're not.
Right.
It's not happening.
Right.
And, you know, so they're so accustomed to getting away with it.
See, we have to push. And Tormel, I just can't thank you enough. I was so proud of you, Muta Elamine. I was like, look at my brothers go. Because that messaging is so important, and the true, authentic messaging gets wiped out by the, like you said, the negotiating, you know.
Because they're there to drown out. Well, you got to think Benjamin Crump just being involved alone is there to drown out. Once he gets involved, once he gets the call, then, you know, it's about quieting down. You don't think Benjamin, right now they're fighting to get the police officers' names, right?
Wow.
You don't think Benjamin Crump Ben had those names?
Absolutely, he did.
You think what's the purpose of him not mentioning them at the press conference? That will mess up his negotiate. He's there to negotiate.
And see, and that's the problem, you know. And it like I said, there's so many layers here. So let me unpack another layer, right? You know, currently in the city of Newark, I'm involved in the mayoral race for 2022, and there's so many people who don't vote because they say, oh well, no matter if we vote, everything just stays the same. You know, nothing ever happens with us, and we see again that classism situation, right? Something happens with the upper echelon. They get offered jobs, they get offered positions, and
you know, it's contributions and contracts. You know, that's what they, you know, donations, contracts.
Yes.
You know, that's what they're there for. That's why they were trying to pack themselves in the sight of the camera so much that they were bunching each other up just so they could get. And you'll hear Reverend Bartley you hear Reverend Bartley saying, I need all the imams and the pastors. I see Pastor, all of y'all come to the front. They didn't even invite the young lady or her mother that was just walking before them out in the streets.
Wow.
They didn't even invite the young lady that was putting in work before they got there to even come up. No, everybody that Reverend Bartley invited was somebody that didn't get their shoes dirty.
Wow. See, and we got to change that narrative. We got to change the lens. We
have to start with the families. You know, the families aren't exempt either. Name one family that got a settlement that contributed back into the revolution that got them that settlement. Families don't come back and give money to the people that's beating the ground up. They take their check and leave. So, you know, they gotta be held accountable too. You know, one of our biggest fights was, this is not about the kid Zakai Hussein. That's how they control movements, when you make it about the person in the family.
Right.
It's not about him, and it's not, because you know what? He wasn't the first person this happened to, and he's not going to be the last.
Right.
So
you know,
go ahead.
You know, one thing, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm just on that same topic. I was really perturbed by the fact that they kept saying that this is not about, no, this is about something way bigger. Sometimes incidents occur and it acts as a catalyst for what needs to be brought to the forefront.
Yeah. Did you hear anyone? And mind you, to date, mom and dad never took not one step in the streets in a rally to date. And me personally, if something like that happened to my son, there's no person on the planet could tell me to be quiet.
Well, so again, classism, right? It's a certain type of family that moves to Bridgewater.
Right. Well, yeah, and it's not saying there's nothing wrong with them, living in Bridgewater.
Not saying there's nothing wrong with them, but usually
we got to figure out.
Yeah, these are not the people who are going to travel back to Newark or travel back to Camden or travel back and say,
we have people
that occurred. You know what I mean?
We had people coming from Atlantic City all week to support, the movement, and they get pushed aside come Wednesday. That doesn't make sense. That makes no sense. And we got to hold everybody accountable, not just,
Who's doing the pushing? Is it a secret hand, a hidden hand? Who's doing the pushing the people out? Who does?
Well, here's the thing, right? If a police department wants to continue their same practices, right, and they're getting resistance, it's easier to go talk to. They think, the white power structure think that black pastors are so influential that they could just deal with them and everything could go away. We're here to tell you that no, they don't influence us.
Right.
And you can do whatever you can work out. Because here's the thing, the black pastor's afraid of them getting a kickback and the problem still existing, because then you got to deal with the same white power structure that gave them the kickback. Like, yo, you promised us this was going to disappear.
Right.
And we're saying it's not going anywhere.
Right.
We're not going anywhere.
Right.
So we're taking the power. You got the upper middle class blacks, right, that don't want to associate themselves with the lower class inner city ghetto people, right? So we're saying fine, but we want to draw a line. So whenever there's an issue and we go to the table or we go to a room, we need two representatives. You can get the pastor that represents them, and then you get the grassroots activists and advocates that represent us. But we're telling them that we're not the same. The only thing connects us is skin color, nothing else. We don't share the same ideologies. We don't share the same thought process. And not just the men. There were women out there who, one woman said those guys that interrupted, they weren't even dressed up. They said that we were so they assumed that everyone was supposed to get dressed up. Now think about this, right?
Wow.
Think about this. Now think about this, right?
Yeah.
Everybody that were dressed up got the same memo, the same email, or the same note to come out dressed up.
Right.
They were all the same type of people. Nobody from the hood got that memo because we're not in that circle.
Right.
All the do-gooders were all there dressed up with the same purpose and the same idea to get camera time. And
let me tell you, it's not just the higher class looking down on the lower class and the ghetto. Because I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm an educator all my life. I don't consider myself ghetto, but I get treated the exact same way. It doesn't matter.
But they assume. Yeah. When I say that, not saying that
no, you're right.
Urban areas, but they assume that they can just overlook us.
Yeah, they can. And I'm going to talk just a tiny bit about why that assumption occurs. When you talk about the church, right, and you talk about these preachers, one thing that I found really astonishing right now in the city of Newark, right, and all eyes are on Newark because it's kind of symbolic of urban cities all over the country, right? You have all of your pastors and ministers, right, going deeper and deeper into politics. First, it was about the 501c3. It was about the contracts. It became about getting a charter school in your basement, right? Now they're moving up to running for office. So they recognize the power of organization. They recognize the power of being able to control mass groups of people. So if I can stand up and say, hey, I can control these groups of people, then you have to pay me handsomely to do that. Whereas the truth is not as organized. And that's what you guys represented that day.
Right. They don't think that they've never seen me and Africa together. So that was a shocker alone,
Yeah.
Not to mention they had the Black Hebrew Israelites over in the corner to the left. They were doing the same thing. Like, So
Wow.
it was like it was a huge collective. It just wasn't us. And the reason why here's the thing too, right? The reason why we were able, shout out to brother Born Understanding, shout out to Malik, shout out to, brothers who came up.
Shout them out.
Yeah, shout out to, brother Steve Young. The reason why we were able to continue talking is because we had brothers from Atlantic City behind us blocking anybody from getting through. So that's why the message got delivered. Everybody was on the same accord and working together. And we're supporting each other in everything we got going on. So
right.
This is definitely a shift in power.
And it's a great time, right? Everything happens in time and in order. So okay, so let's set the scene. So you guys are there. Africa's on the mic first.
Yo, I told him, I said, yo, here's the thing, right? Africa hit me, right?
Yeah.
I said, I got somebody delivered on the platter for you with the apple in their mouth.
Right. And I gotta commend Africa because I watched him grow as a community leader. He's really passionate. He's been consistent. He has children.
Let me give you the spill though. You want the tea, right? Let me give you the spill. I don't know if you're gonna get sued, but let me give you the spill though. All right. So check it out.
Yeah.
We're there, right?
Yeah.
So Africa don't know I got a speaker for us.
Oh, okay.
So our speaker was as loud as theirs, probably louder. That's why we got the message through too. They were trying to say this is what the and these black women too, man. It was sad, man. They were trying to chant, "We're here for Zakat, here for Zakat, we're here for Zakat." Like that didn't work.
Wow.
Imagine saying we're here for one child. What if he had an older brother? Would you say you're still just here for him? What would that mean?
Again, that's the unorganization, because when you're organized and when you're not just meeting during an event, the messaging is compact. The messaging is united. So when we're all just coming together out there, that's what you're gonna have. People are not on one accord. Yeah. But again,
we were organized. We were putting it together before this. So we were organized. Right. Yeah, and so we walk up. Here's the thing, right? Even some of the organizations, when a young lady, happened prior, she had an event 3:00. There were some organizations getting there 5:30 just to say they showed up. Like, oh, I'm sorry. When they had the press conference Wednesday, Negroes was there 11:00 waiting. Starts at 12.
This is the problem that I have with us, right? The symbolism.
Right.
Everything is catered around symbolism, and that's why the work is not being done.
The work is being done, but it's being done by these poverty pimp parasites.
Yeah, but they're symbolizing work being done. You guys are doing the work.
Well, check it out.
The pendulum. Yeah. But if they were doing, so let me explain what I mean by not doing the work. Pastor Barkley. I've seen Pastor Barkley, just like Africa called him out on, right? Here in the city of Newark, at public I want to say public housing, but a housing project for sure, not being supportive of people retaining because they keep throwing the word around affordable housing, but we're talking about it's not affordable housing. It's what do you call a housing? It slips my mind when it goes by your income. It's income based. I'm going to say that right now because the phrase leaves in my mind. But
medium income?
It's low income. It's low income housing. Yeah, that's what I want to say. The low income housing differs from affordable housing.
Right, absolutely.
They keep bringing these developers here. And Barkley has his hands all in that, right? So we have affordable housing. We have affordable units. The developers, they know they got to have 10%. What is 10%? 1 or 2 apartments? And who handpicks those individuals to get?
That's the thing. That it's bigger than them. Just they use opportunities to say that they're you can be whoever will agree with you. You can be their spokesperson, but you're not ours. So that's all we're saying. We're not trying to take power. We're just saying, you're misrepresenting us, and you can no longer represent us.
Right.
The thing with Bartley, everybody get Al Sharpton and Ben Crumb, just they all get them. But there are baby Al's and all over every town. Pastors, there's pastors in New Brunswick and New Jersey in the surrounding areas that do this exact same thing.
Right.
Like that has been until we get we demand. Look at all the demands we put on the white power structure. We demand transparency from the police department, but we can't even get transparency from the guys who are speaking for us right now.
Right.
They go into a closed room and then come out with you know what I'm saying, they're selling soul for jelly rolls. So they go into a closed room and then come out smiling, chinning, and grinning while the deal is made, and we don't even know. But we're demanding transparency from the police department.
Right.
How about this? We want to audit whenever there's corruption in, say, for instance, corporate America, right?
Right.
What they do? They send an audit. We want to find out what's your financial records, this, that, and that. We need to audit all these pastors and all these people saying they're doing us. We want to find out who got kickbacks, who did what, how they did, who got a job, who got it. You know, we got to audit them and
it
figure
doesn't
out.
just stop there, Tormel. This thing is huge, right? It's not just who got a job. It's who got a job, whose wife got a job, whose cousin, kids, next door neighbors got a job.
Yeah, who was on the donors list, the fundraisers, and we gotta start auditing all of that. Then you'll find out why they do what they do. They can care less about police brutality. Check it out. If we stop, not once out of that demonstration Wednesday, did not the parents ain't say that, the family didn't say that, Crump didn't say that. Nobody said, listen, I don't want this to happen to any other black young man, black child again. That's not their spill. They just talk about what happened. You know, they just talk about they're about to file a federal suit. They're not trying to stop it. You think Benjamin Crump really want to stop us from getting hurt by police departments when his business is thriving off of us getting hurt by police departments? Like, let's be honest. So we listen, the family, they can take and get their settlement. They can do all of that. Y'all can go, that's cool. But we're saying overall, you know, we're not making it about one incident because we're going to be here to fight all the incidents. I don't know if their family come out and advocate. I bring my whole family out when I advocate.
Right.
And the people who are really trying to stop this won't come out to no press conference dressed to kill.
Right.
They won't bring their diamond. They won't bring their best jewelry out.
Yeah. So to me, right, it's not, yeah, and it's just not the outfit. It's what goes along with the outfit, right? It's not just the circus, it's the clowns, right? The clowns and
it's a circus. It's a circus.
It's the whole circus of it, right? And it's the whole that you're really disconnected, right, to the people and what's going on the ground. And
no, let me correct you, sis. They're connected to their group of people. They're a different group. They're a different group. But what happens is the white power structure lump them all together. They don't want to listen, the white power structure don't want to deal with a whole bunch of Negroes.
Right.
So they want you, all right, you control the Negroes, all right, we'll deal with you. Even though that's not accurate, as long as they're our spokesperson, they can get away with it. When they find out that, no, this is the whole nother group that has nothing to do with them, they don't, you know, that's when we can start getting things accomplished.
Right.
We got to move them before we fix any department, police department or anything. We got to move them out the way. They have to go.
Right.
There's no, you know, it's non-negotiable. They have to go. And, you know, that was one of the first signs of it.
Right. I'm sorry. Can you still see me? When my phone goes off, I have to find a way I have to find a way to unattach my phone. But okay, so this is an issue, right? What we're dealing with is an issue that's multi-pronged, right? So when you have people yelling and they're mad because you're talking, right? What they see is something different, right? There has never been a time, I keep saying, that all Black people was in unison in anything. When we came over here on boats, people spoke different languages. They were from different tribes. How do you
this out?
That we
Let me finish
because I want you to speak to this. In schools, this a push now for no critical thinking. I wish I could show some of these videos, some clips, but a teacher activist was talking about this recently. They don't want critical thinking. They just want you to take notes, don't talk, just go along. Mm-hmm. They just want everything like robotic to go along. So that pushes into the citizenry, right? Because those students grow up, become adults that make up the citizenry. So you have the citizens, right? The parents there, the women, Why are you saying something different? Why aren't you going along? And then if you heard this, and I know you probably did, there was rhetoric about God, like almost like y'all was doing something against God. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? Well, the young lady, here's a lot coming from the family. The family, you see, one of the brown skin lady at the end, she said, well, "You're acting like animals."
Yes, yes.
That was his aunt. Look at the mentality. The mom was the one saying, just let's let God. We're letting God, handle this. All right. Well, if you're letting God handle it, why did you go get a lawyer?
That part. And they don't want to hear it because, again,
wait, you're letting God handle this.
Is not in place. And you know what puts critical thinking in place? Dialogue. The dialogue when two groups of people or two people don't maybe see eye to eye. So now you listen to the facts on both sides, and then, right?
Yeah. But even the dialogue, we're just saying you don't speak for us. We're saying you don't speak for us. You can speak for whoever wants you to speak for them, but you do not have. You know how oppressing that is to somebody that's gonna fight to say, that's like Sheila. You're gonna get up today. You're gonna go to. No, I'm doing what I want to do. You don't tell me what. You don't speak for me.
But that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's such a big deal, Tormel, because it's a national push. This is not something that's just, only relegated to the areas where we live. This is a national push to go along. You look at the vaccine mandates, You look at just everything. You look at the council meetings in any city at this point. They have a script. They want you to stay on script. And I have never in my life seen an entire council just nod to everything that comes their way for a whole period of 4 years. So again, they want the critical thinking gone. There's one unison agenda that's being pushed. And if you're not...
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me? Let me see.
My phone rang. I think my phone rang and then it,
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go out and come back in. Can you hear me? Okay, let me send you a
Can you hear me?
Hold on. Look in the chat.
One, two.
I just sent you a text. Okay, so he's gonna go out and come back in, guys. I hope you're enjoying the conversation that we have. Anybody who has other questions and comments, please
you hear me?
please include. Yeah, I can hear you. Are you there? You with us?
I can't hear.
Can you hear us? You gotta go all the way out and come back in again.
Come out? And then come all the way back, come back in? Okay.
Yeah. So like I said, I hope you guys are enjoying the conversation. If you have any questions, I know that you guys couldn't hear him. Like sometimes when the phone happens, and I guess we got to learn how to tweak that with the program. Basically, share the lives, share the show if you have not already. Let me see. Okay, and so I'm gonna go to the comments while we're waiting for him to come back on, and he's here.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, you can hear me now, right?
Yep.
Okay, so Tormel, what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to go to some of the comments and see if you want to address any of these thus far. Dominique Ashley says, people forgetting to vote as it relates to the legislative branch. Let me see. Edward Johnson, the fourth, is saying a lot of them are getting money. These comments are very hard to see on my phone because they're shortened. So what I'm going to do.
Ask them how many people are voting for you.
Well, how about that? Hold on. Okay, everybody, thank you for your patience. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that go out and come back in. Okay, he's back in. I'm trying to go over some of these comments. He said, no, we were we were able to see, I can't read the total comments on my phone. I don't know what it is, something about the Facebook feature now. It's not allowing you to do that anymore.
Their parents appeared bothered by the activists like they were uncomfortable.
Right. And that shouldn't have happened. And that's how you know, Tormel, and that's my issue. There's a brainwashing that's occurring that people are not talking about. Brainwashing is very, very subtle. Oh, thank you. Okay, so my technical person just is helping us out here. Africa was pouring his heart out on behalf of those people, and they were so unwelcoming. Wow. So what did you think? Do you agree with that, Tormel?
Oh, absolutely, because they came for a social gathering.
Right.
They came for a social gathering. They wanted, only thing that was missing was the wine and crackers. Absolutely. And the cheese. So when you get adversity and you don't never get checked and challenged, this is a joke to them. They're going to look for the next hearse to chase and the next social gathering. All those people know each other.
But it's a joke on us.
Well,
my mother always told me to be able to tell the difference between when people are laughing at you and when people are laughing with you. Right. For example, if you remember back a while back, what's his name? One of the guys that was with Trump said, "We gave you a president." Do you remember when that statement was made? We gave y'all a president, right? And again, there's that symbolism. There's that you're not progressing anywhere, but hey, we gave you that.
Right. And that group, you got to think that group was a bunch of what I call them Black upper middle class, vaccinated Democratic Christians.
And so there we go with that. That's again, this is so layered. The Democrats. Like, people will really ask you, well, are you a Democrat? Are you a Democrat?
Well, here's the thing, right?
The sole determiner.
When you ask a black person, if you walk up to a dark person, what are you? Instead of them saying I'm black, you know what they'll say? Well, a Republican, I'm a Mason, or I'm a Q-Dog. We got so many things that we are before we are black.
Ooh,
so many things.
Facts.
What am I? I'm a Muslim. We are everything except black first.
Black first.
Walk up to a person who got slanted eyes or whatever. They're gonna tell you either they're Chinese, Japanese, Korean. They're gonna let you know one of those first.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
To a Latino, they're gonna tell you, what are you? I'm Puerto Rican. I'm Dominican. They're gonna tell you that first.
Yeah.
We start talking about our social and cultural, our social ties, and what we're tied to socially.
Right.
We'll tell you about an organization that we're bound to. We'll brand an organization on our arm before we brand our own children on our arm.
We really have to unlearn, and it stands to reason because the social media period, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, whatever, so much information has come to the forefront that was hidden for so long. And I mean, I'm talking about hidden for generations, that we have to reestablish what our ideologies are, right? What our belief systems are based on the newfound information that we received. And some people are really tenacious in that they just don't want to do it. And it has to be done. You have to, know what you know right up until you don't know it anymore. You understand? And people just want to still hold on to it. So some of the comments again, Tormel, just let me know if you want to jump in on any of these. Some of our people are so brainwashed.
Absolutely.
One person says,
absolutely. I think people who understand what's going on, more the people who are in the inner city communities, they know more what's going on, but they don't have a voice. See, the people who and the people who, it's not like they agree with it. They're in more disagreement than the ones who got a comfortable life. They really don't hate police officers. I'm talking about black people who, because they got law enforcement, they really agree with law enforcement, and you had to, and it was big that day from the family. Like, there's another person, I guess one of the kid's father, sister, whatever, they're like, that was the time and place. What for us to do that?
Right.
When is the time and place to fight for your freedom?
Right.
So you're saying that, you only want us to fight, because they will never go at the white oppressor.
Right.
So they want the time and places for you to do our dirty work by going at the white oppressor, but going at us, that's not the time and place. When is the time? I will go at you before I go at them, because you are our oppressor at this current moment.
Right. So there are those, right, in other cultures who will say, well, why are the African Americans allowing this? Why are they not fighting back? Right. So there's a very real fear factor, because sometimes that's the response, is that people are afraid. But people have historically and still are being penalized for having a voice and speaking up. I mean, for something as simple as going to a school board and speaking up. I've seen parents jailed, and I don't mean because they were being aggressive or physically confrontational, for your voice. I've seen people lose their jobs because, again, you're talking about a power structure that has the power to make a phone call and change your livelihood, right? Change your situation from being able to care for yourself. So when you do see somebody who has the courage to speak truth to power, and they have the courage to say those things that need to be said, there's not one person who won't admit that came at a cost. That came at a cost. Like, I speak truth to power. I see Manera on with us. Manera speaks truth to power. You speak truth to power. Again, it comes at a cost, and sometimes it's synonymous to public lynching, right? So when you say something out of place to a Reverend Al Sharpton, or you expose a Barkley, or you humiliate publicly.
Well, yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? It depends on who you are and how firm you stand on what you believe. Okay, like you could say, like I've been unapologetic forever, and they said, oh, well, it comes at a cost. Yeah, but that cost might be you. I'm not. Why is it because I stand on my truth that I'm going to take the L? I don't lose.
Right.
Nah. And when people have that in their mind, like, I can't speak the truth because I might be afraid of what may happen, on the back end.
Right.
You can't truly speak the truth in the manner it needs to be spoken.
Right.
So, when you worry about, you got to think like this, right? Things will fall in your favor when you stand on the truth, when you stand on it and not waver. You can't be shaky, because people can tell when you're trying to stand on the truth, but you're shaky. When you stand on it and not waver, you'll be fine.
Right. So there's situations, right, historically, just to bring up a couple, right?
Somebody put privilege.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was a lot of Wednesday was a whole lot of privilege.
Yeah,
Last Wednesday was a whole lot of privilege.
A lot. So when we talk about fear, right, realistic fear, and how people need to, okay, so that took courage to send Ruby Bridges to school. You understand? Right. But people don't talk about how that broke up her mother and father. People don't talk about that. That broke up her mother because her father started catching flack at work. The mother started catching flack. Both of them ended up losing their jobs. Both of them ended up losing their home because they lost their job. And people don't talk about that. They ended up in divorce and everything. And that's another factor that can happen. Like, even with me in my marriage, there's been things that have happened that, different people have levels to what they fear and what they don't fear. And again, like you said, that's innate.
I'll give you an example, right? Like in my early days of activism. You don't think I lost a couple jobs?
Yeah.
But my mentality, what my mentality was?
What, buddy? I
said, all right, I lost a job. So guess what? I got full time to put pressure on y'all now. And guess what? After a couple times, I stopped losing them.
Right. Right.
Somebody needs to keep that guy at work. When you lose a job and you really turn up,
right.
Stop.
Right. So
I got 24/7. I got 24/7 to follow cops around, and I got all the time.
Right. Yeah, they don't get it. They don't get it because, see, some people, they take their jobs away and it's like, oh my God. No, some people, you just give them more time to really dig in.
Yeah, and when they find out, and when they start digging in, they're like, they'll offer you a job. Hey, buddy.
That's what I said. I said, y'all should have just let me stay to work, because
hey, buddy, pal.
Oh my God.
When I lost my job, I said, oh, really? Are we really gonna turn up now? I'm on everything. I'm everywhere.
Everything.
Like, man, this guy got triplets. Man, listen. I was
Yeah,
doing
for
it.
real.
So
That is so
we
true.
gotta learn. We gotta learn to turn lemons into lemonade, regardless of what position a particular they put
Absolutely.
us in.
Absolutely. And that philosophy fits for anything. So Manera says, what do he think about today's so-called revolutionaries in Newark?
Today's revolutionaries in Newark.
Give us your honest opinion, because we're trying to grow. This is a show. We gotta, give our honest opinions here. Not no politically correct answers. Not that you ever would do that.
No. I want to give you an honest answer. There are some there's I think for the size of Newark there should be way more. I think that with the conditions of Newark, there should be more of the revolutionaries on the same page. It's crazy, because I mean, prior to Baraka, there were way more revolutionaries than there are now. So it's like some of them evaporated, disappeared. Revolutionaries don't. If you're a true revolutionary, a Black freedom fighter, you put Black liberation in any and everything you do. If you see me in the White House, working at the White House, best believe Tormel Pittman is somewhere
Say
trying
that.
to do.
Yes.
It don't go nowhere. So when they evaporate or they disappear, I mean, they were never the revolutionaries to begin with.
They were pretending.
They were they were pretending, and it don't go nowhere. Like, shout out to brothers that's holding it down, like Brother Africa. You know what I'm saying, Brother Zulu Sharad.
Between him and Muta, I don't know. We got a couple maybe.
I'm not in Newark, so I know Sister Manera. She's the truth.
Yes.
We bump heads, but she's still my sister. I still love her.
Absolutely.
She's real as they come. She's real as they come. There's a number of there's a lot of women. There's a lot of women that's putting in the work. In Newark. It's just Newark is a special place. So, I think that the opportunity to take Newark back, you guys got a strong chance if you were to get on the same page.
Absolutely. So Manera says revolutionaries off their posts or sold the people out. Absolutely. And like I said, I go back to what I said earlier. You got all the pastors, right? The religious leaders running for office.
Well, here's the thing. You have people like and this is why we are starting, the connection that we are starting in New Jersey, because you have people like Munera that'll get ignored or drowned out when they've been putting in work on the front lines for God knows how long. So we're trying to connect, and we're each other. We are brothers and sisters keepers. Like, nah, Munera, you ain't going up in that spot by yourself. We got 12 brothers coming up in there with you, and you say what we ain't got to open our mouth. We just gonna stand with you. You say what you gotta say, and we out.
I'm going to tell you something. There's a lot of fake revolutionaries here. Well, it's not a lot of well, let me say this. Community advocates or advocates.
Manera said we bump heads something new to me. You blocked me. Stop, Manera. Stop. Stop. We ain't even gonna do that.
Manera know that we all be going at it, but
Manera,
it's her heart is always in the right place. She's had the heart of a lion.
Hey, listen. Here's the thing. I bump heads. But I know who's really for it and who's really real and who's not.
Come on, and that's what I was about to say. Manera is the realest. She's the realest in this city. And I've seen that for years. Like I said, I'm not saying something just for this show. I'm not saying something that I just noticed. What I'm saying is over a period of time, an extended amount of time, Manera has been 100 always. And I've seen her stand alone and still be on her dean. But the thing is, she should not ever have to be standing alone, like what you just alluded to.
Well, everybody got their way of going about doing things. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, who would I rather have in a foxhole with me? Manera or one of those smoozy Black ladies that was there Wednesday? Hey, what are you guys? I mean, it was bad.
So upset with them.
Yeah, like it was bad. And you know what? That video's not going anywhere. You get what I'm saying? Like you see, the problem. I said, listen, their child is not dead. You got the family coming to press conference with security around them, and they're dressed like they lost their money. That's a slap in Samaria Rice's face. Like Tamir Rice is never coming back.
It was also representative of the really Lynch theory also.
Yeah.
The mothers trying to beat their sons into submission. That's what they was trying to do to you. Like they had the women coming up to Africa and coming to telling y'all to stop.
Stop. Nah, that ain't work. And it ain't work. You see, it ain't work, right?
It did not.
Please, stop. But here's the thing, right? Let me tell you about Africa. First off, you go off, you clip off at 7 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me hurry. We got 6 minutes left. What is it like? You get an hour slot or something?
Oh no, this is my show. I do what I want to do. But
we can go a couple minutes longer then, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna tell you about Africa, right? Because he's a funny guy, and I can't wait. We're supposed to do lunch.
Wait, somebody said don't mess with the black Stepford wives.
Hold up, listen, right?
Thanks, Melinda. Go ahead, Tormel.
So I'm gonna tell you when we walked up, right? When we came up. I said, Africa, I got something for you. He said, all right, we see the black Hebrew Israelites. They over there, it's about 15 of them, they getting ready. Everybody gearing up. Now, everybody coming, all the ones who had every excuse to get involved before, they were there 11 o'clock waiting on the camera. They were setting up with the camera crew. They were there with the camera crew. So when Africa comes up, I said, yo, we ready? Yeah, cool. We go there. So we come into the crowd. Right. I guess they thought we were trying to push in to get the camera space too. They didn't know we about to bomb the spot. So, Nani, can you give me a charger, please? Thank you. So they didn't know we about to bomb the spot, right?
Right.
So Reverend Bartley comes up. All the pastors and the imams and I see so yeah, come on. So you can listen to what he said. So you could be seen supporting the family. Watch what he said.
Wow.
So you could be seen supporting the family. So while he's doing that, right? I know Africa arm got to hurt because I'm elbowing him like, yo, get this Negro now. Get him. So Africa chill out, like, yo, get him. Soon as I tapped on one thing, he's like, all power to the people. There we go. So once he got into his spill, once he got into his spill, they still didn't know what hit him.
Right.
They're still trying to figure out. Whoa. Are they with us? Are they? And then once he did so Reverend Bartley did like this, I guess the commas down. First we played the song. First we played some hip hop song in the middle of it. Y'all didn't catch that. So we pumping the hip hop song. Everybody looking around.
Yeah.
So then they taking pictures with each other before we actually got there. They taking pictures with each other, passing out business cards. And, hey, that was it was going down. So we came with the I forgot the song we played or whatever. Tupac. We came up playing Pop. So that's when Bartley calmed down and told all the pastors and bishops and imams, which none of them were in the streets prior to that, to come up and get a photo op. So when I told Africa, I said, listen, man, it's now or never. I said, yo, you got to get him. Africa jumped on him. That's when they realized that, we in trouble. Now check this out. Can I tell you an insider?
Yeah, sure, please.
All right. Prior to that, right, Reverend Bartley, the Bridgewater Police Department, they got flyers out. They got word that, they're going to be out, Al Sharpton and there's going to be a big press conference. So they contacted Pastor Bartley and they said, can we assist you in any way? Who is this? He said, well, Captain, I don't speak to captains. Put your chief on the phone. He said, well, the chief's not available at this time. So he hung up. Right? This was right before the press conference Wednesday. What happens when we start kicking up, right? Who on the phone? He calling, hey, please. He calling the police. Guess what they did? They hung up on him.
Wow. Good for him. Listen, I want to go really quick, if it's okay. With Edward Johnson is making a comment. He says, so is there anyone in this entire city that believes the administration's false narrative that crime is down? How can people vote for someone that lies straight to your face, just like when he said the water was safe? Wow. So again, we see those two big factors, right? Big impact on the Black community. Crime being down. When I know for a fact I live on a number street and they're shooting here every single night. Every single night, there's been multiple people just recently shot and killed, girls and guys. So that's a problem. But they keep wanting to push the narrative that crime is down, right? Same thing with the water. We know that lead, right? It impacts the frontal lobe of the brain, which causes anger and aggression. So we have the kids drinking this water, right? And we don't say, hey, stop drinking the water. We say, oh, the water is safe to drink. So we see again, whose script is this?
Well, you get, for one, like they always ask me to run for mayor of New Brunswick.
I would love to see that.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not gonna go. I'm gonna flip the desk over my first day. They're gonna throw me out of City Hall.
You're gonna do a Jesus.
You're gonna see me flying with a suit jacket. For one, here's the thing, right? In the mayor's defense, you will have people like, say if I'm sitting down City Hall in New Brunswick, you're gonna have my cousins that never supported me. My cousin that let me in. Where my cousin? You're gonna have jokers that never, yo, man, I needed it. So that's gonna come with it. I don't want that smoke.
Right.
I don't want that smoke. Just the unnecessary. Then I think that they will bombard me with cats in the tree. Because once you are the mayor of a town or city, you're mayor for everybody. So when white people come in, you can't say.
Wait, can you repeat that again?
When you are mayor for a town or a city, you are everyone's mayor.
Everybody, not just a fraction of the people?
No, everyone.
Interesting. Continue.
But here's the thing, though. I'm the type that I will prioritize. Because, I will figure out a way to make my people a priority because they've been neglected for so long. And I think that when people get into a leadership position, they either say, well, listen, you either prioritize for all your people and risk not being in this position, or you take care of yourself and stay here. And 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10, the Black political structure tend to take care of themselves or the few that surround them.
Yeah. So I spoke about this recently. You have to tend to what the priority is. And it's just coincidentally, our people are the priority right now. Like we're the ones that's at risk. We're the ones that are being killed right in the street. We're going to jail in astronomical numbers. There's a priority there. There's been other times in life where there were different priorities where we addressed it and it was okay. For example, ICE, when they had those ICE camps, I remember it being declared in the city that we were a sanctuary city. I remember we prioritized that situation. And there's been other situations, but it is like so taboo to say, I'm going to address these issues right here. These issues are priority right here. And I think that, again, we just got to change our mindset and change how we're thinking.
Well, here's the thing. When you fix, see, it's so easy to prioritize for Blacks because when you fix this condition that Blacks are in, you fix it for everybody. You think that Latino want those? You think that Latino woman want those brothers and sisters hanging on her porch?
Right.
At 2, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning? They want to walk to the store and they want to, all of that. And, it's not just us doing it. It's all races that are, making certain living conditions affect the quality of life in some way or another. But when you fix our condition, I'm not just fixing it for us. I'm fixing it for everyone.
For everybody. If we're going to talk public safety.
If we're straight, trust and believe me, everybody's going to be straight and look good. We'll be an asset. We'll be an asset to a community. So,
absolutely, because right now it's anything but. So Marilise Monclova de Jesus says, I saw like 20 cop cars on Avon yesterday. Something went down. That's every day, all day. I listen, I saw it too. Every day, all day. It's just a lawless situation that we're dealing here in Newark. And you see the police, but you actually don't see anything getting done. And it's not out of control. It's not being controlled.
And it's some people, when they get power, you notice, right? Politicians, say for instance, like Black mayors, governors, you notice their swagger is just like the pastor. Like they all start acting alike. Like the demeanor, their arrogance come at it's at an all-time high out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, somebody said at the rally, I don't know if you remember this. Somebody said, "Wait a minute, are you saying that he's God? Are you saying that Reverend Al Sharpton is God?"
Yeah. That was my boy. That was my boy. Andrew Buckmeyer. He's a resident of Bridgewater, and his mom said that. She was like, leaving it God. So you telling me Al Sharpton is God? They might not admit it right then and there, but you gotta think how
perfect analogy, because
you gotta think how confused
people see the pastor as God. Now, I'm not saying everybody, of course I'm not, but far too many people see the pastor as God. And a lot of people don't even read the Bible for themselves. They go solely on what it is that guy is saying. And if he says, "Hey, pass this basket around. Hey, pass it around again."
I forgot who that pastor was, right?
Yeah.
I gotta look it up, but he was sleeping with a church member, a married church member, right? So the husband came home, caught him in the bed, forced him outside at gunpoint, butterball naked.
Not the butterball.
So he got passed out naked, right?
Jeez.
So that Sunday, one of the church members recorded. I guess he had to address the church. It done went viral. Everybody heard about it. He turned it on to worldly people. You guys, these worldly people, y'all got to stay away from them. They're gonna talk, and we don't need them right now because they're gonna come. Y'all need to be prayed up. And how does turn on us? I'm telling you, was in that man's house.
But it's another thing. It's check it
out. They believe they fell for it.
Yeah, but it's another indictment on us. We have this thing in the community, which I personally, I find debatable, right? I don't judge. Only God to judge. No. I believe you need to make judgment calls. I think judgment calls need to be made. If people made more judgment calls about their kids, there wouldn't be so many kids in situations where they can't keep themselves safe from issues like molestation or issues like peer pressure, right? That can result in crimes and different, negative behaviors, right? No, I think judgment calls are very important. Your kids don't need to be in everybody's house. Make a judgment call. I don't care. Like, you do what you have to do to safeguard your kid, but the judgment call should come from somewhere. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what do people create or develop their moral barometers around? If it's around religion, fine, I don't care. But it needs to be something. And right now, I'm really afraid that it's not. So, with that being said, I wanted to go back to another comment. But so who do people look to when the politicians, the pastors, and the community activists are all working together against the people? Because let's face it, if they're going to follow,
they can't. Yeah, I mean, they're not community activists if they're working against the people. You got to think. A lot of people throughout their, like, I've been getting attention my whole life, so it's no big deal to get. A lot of people yearn attention. When they finally get it, they become intoxicated.
Right.
They can't handle it. And you see that in them. When you know somebody who was picture me, right? Tormel Pittman, okay, whatever. I start going all here, doing all this, and and you no longer recognize me. You already know.
Right.
You seen something prior to me getting it.
Right.
There was something in me, and we catapult these people and put them in a position to speak for us, to represent for us, because a lot of us are starstruck. We want the pastor to look better than us. We want the government, we want the politician to look better than look, and that ultimately hurts us in the long run. Why can't we all look good? Why can't we all evolve? Like, why can't we all push forward? Like, there's no one person. And one thing I tell you about the Latino leadership, right? They don't play that with their politicians. Their politicians ain't playing. They coming to get what they want to get for their Latino people.
But no one does. No one does. But like, at a time when Newark was locally governed by Italians, it was the same thing. And they tell me, Sheila, when we were governing Newark, we had access. They said that's the difference between you guys don't have access to anything. And they're right. We do, we don't have access to the judges. We don't have access to anything. Once again, that small group is running roughshod, right? And there's something wrong with that, right? And so that's why my slogan is like, just open the door. And it just speaks to the inclusivity that's
Well,
needed.
here's the thing too. Even if, say for instance, right, even if you're not into voting, one thing we're black, like, you know, we're so far behind, we got to jump a few paces forward. So, like, say for instance, you're running for mayor. What we don't do, we think voting is everything. Was just as, or probably more powerful, is campaign contributions.
Right, 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 right,
Your
right.
your $50, for one, it goes noted.
Nowhere.
I'm
Yeah,
just saying, no. Wait, let me see. Your $50. Say for instance, right, 1,000 people with $50 or $100. That can help you.
right,
That can help you.
right.
And that, say for instance, you don't win. When they find out, like, not only are these black people voting, but they're putting money behind their vote,
That's
that will
right.
scare anybody that you're going up against.
That's right. That's
And
right.
it could give a grassroots person that's running a real solid chance. So
Right,
you got to come up with that, you know, 50, 100, $200. Y'all have to not just vote for Sheila. Y'all got to come up with some money to help financially also, because you're
right.
going up against a
Yeah.
war chest.
So Aurelius Gallman says, I will not vote for Raz. And you know, even the disrespect of everyone calling him by his first name is a whole nother issue. But I want to speak to the issue of, as a collective, we don't know the process of politics. Even recently, there were like over 50 people who pulled out petitions to run. And I really believe that many, if not all of these people, were very passionate and sincere, right, in their quest to get a city council seat. But they missed the mark. You know what I mean? In terms of getting the petitions in on time. Like, they took the due date to me to be you know, March the 7th, is that's the day I'm going to take it down. No, that was the due date. You know, I got this thing that I live by, right? If you're on time, you're late. If you're on time, you're late. So I needed, and I was trying to, like, you know, do my little rendition of educate the community through the, you know, the time to put it up. I was like, round one, I passed in this many. So they kick out 400, I bring in 600. They kick out more, I bring in more. So I'm doing this to show the community, hey guys, this is what you need to be doing. But it just didn't happen. And like I said, so many people missed the mark. And somebody came down with 2,500 petitions at maybe 3 minutes late, and they were denied. And again, like, this is the process, the initial stages that we're losing out on. That was so because of that, so many people are running unopposed now, right? And so then the thing is, what they love to say about me, oh, Sheila, I don't always agree with you. You shouldn't agree with me all the time, right? Within debate, learning happens. Because if you believe one thing and I believe something else, and we have a respectable debate, and you can't defend what it is that you're believing in, like, well, we should just let God deal with it. If you can't defend that, then you're forced at that point to redirect and reevaluate your thinking, and to let yourself develop and grow into a new and different way of thinking that more benefits, you know, the new information that you become, you know.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right? It's insane to me how, say for instance, as a black person,
Right.
let's take Newark let's use Newark since we're talking about it.
Right.
Living in Newark, and it's not working for them. Why I will vote for anybody else that's already not working? I don't care who, I'm giving somebody else a shot.
Right.
That's crazy to me.
Right.
That, all right, it ain't working, so, you know, we're gonna try this. If it ain't working now, it ain't gonna work with the same person again. It ain't gonna work. It ain't working.
We have a lot of internal issues. In many respects, I think that some of the people, there weren't any men of color. Well, there were no black men running against the mayor, but a bunch of women got in the race, right? And it was like they were running against me. Like,
So,
you know,
so you're saying the women are not going to support you? That
there's some women that are incredible that are, but
no, I'm saying the ones that were going to, because I'm figuring if they ran for the mayor, if they ran to be mayor, that they see flaws in Newark, and they see the need to change.
Right.
So even if they didn't get on the ballot or whatever, would they still? I would assume that they would still support you, or they would support you.
You know what? I would hope so. You know, I did a live recently where, as I said, everybody who didn't get on the ballot, don't worry about it because I'm on the ballot. So that means you guys are on the ballot, because it gives us opportunity to work together and still safeguard the democracy that we truly want in our city. But like I said, everybody is not on one accord because, again, we're not all meeting. Again, we all, there are those of us, right, that's in that upper echelon who've been maybe council people before. So they're given narratives to cause chaos and confusion in the thought processes of the newbies, right, to the political realm who don't know. And so if I like this person, they tell me something, I may take it as a truth. But now if I hear it in conjunction with somebody else who doesn't agree, it's like, wow. Like I even heard today, somebody mentioned that there were 2 candidates that we have in the West Ward. That's not true. We have 2 women. We have 2 women that no one is talking about. These women are phenomenal. They understand how fundraising. They know how to get to the money. They know, and we need that money and those resources in the West Ward. But we don't even want to get to know the women. We just, I see this person. He's a guy, like, we're just going to go with him. And the thing is, we have to look beneath the surface when we are seeking representation. And, and that's just a fact, right?
What do you want? What are you running as?
What do you mean?
Party.
Well, I'm a Democrat, right?
Okay.
But I'm a Democrat that has a lot of conservative views. Like, for example, I don't support the vaccine mandates. And especially, I think it should be a choice.
And that's considered a conservative view.
Yes, because Biden, the president, right, chief Democrat, he wants those. Yeah, he wants those vaccines. He's been pushing them. So you see what I'm saying? So when people are saying, "Oh, are you a Democrat before I vote for you?" What you need to take a look at what the Democrats are standing for these days. What they're standing for is not what we need to be on line with. And, I remember when Ice Cube came out and he was saying, no, like, we got to hear both of these people running. We got to see who's willing to offer what's going on.
Them? Black women, they had him on that show. They tore him up.
Sure did.
They tore him up. I don't know if you saw that show, but they tore him up. Like, they were like, well, he's like, I'm trying to get something for black people. They were like, no. We need, I think who was on it? Vivica Fox, a few of them. They're like, well, you're talking black people, but what about black women? I said, they don't turn black women into a race.
Again, brainwashed. And that's not disrespect. So I say that respectfully as possible, because those women, I do have respect for their choices. But again, we live in a society where society has allowed our voice to be louder than our men's voice. So many of us have took that and ran. And it's not about that. It's about, like I said, again, just putting our ideas together, putting them on the table, hearing people out, and then making collective decisions that's best for the people and not best for themselves. Like, for example, it was not best for multiple women to be running in this election if the goal was to overthrow or overturn the current administration, because it would split the vote. That would ensure that he got back in. But the egos wouldn't allow that. It was like, no, I want to run. You understand what I'm saying? Because women, a lot of us, we want to do what we want to do. Damn anybody else or whatever else. And society has put us in that place, right? They gave us credit at a time when men weren't allowed. They give us carte blanche a lot of times in the child support courts, right? And they put our voice over the voice of a man because nobody wants that man to be lifted up, right? And then what happens is when a man does get, and then when we see we can't handle the heat, we turn around and say, well, where are the men? They're supposed to be protecting us. Where are the men? Where are the men? So
they don't want. Here's the thing. I think that they, being a black man married to a black woman, I think that their biggest fear is they got to break the black man down so bad. Because for one, well, I'm not going to just say the black man and the black woman. They got to break the black family down so bad.
It breaks down the wealth too.
You know how powerful it is for black man and black woman to be together. See, here's the thing. They'll kill you. They killed Emmett Till. They killed all these people, right? For wanting to be with white women. But if a black man getting with a black woman and creating a black family, they will throw a white woman at you. wait a
Oh,
minute.
hey girl, you better tell the truth. And on the topic of
they
image,
don't. So that's let you know. Imagine you're a star athlete in high school, and your coach is trying to hook you up with his daughter. Like, that should tell you, how powerful it is to be with a black woman. For us, hey, listen, if I was white, I'd be saying the same spiel for white people. They get it. Everybody gets it. You know what I mean? Everybody gets it. And once that power structure is united and put together, then you will see the paradigm will shift automatically.
Right.
The paradigm, it's not enough. It's not enough of that. It's not enough black relationships. It's not enough, that are on the same page. Now imagine, like a lot of black people got progress because of in the 40s and 50s. What was the difference? They were all families.
Right.
We were all together. We had the same interests.
Right.
And we look, regardless, mothers or females always went to church. What's your grandfather? Your father, he stayed on that couch. Look what he said. You go get that fool your money if you want.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna be two fools giving that fool pastor son. Ain't two fools ain't gonna be giving her no money.
Right.
You gonna give them all your money you want. Don't come back and ask me.
I know that's right.
I ain't got no money for you. See, so we knew the man knew where he stood.
Right.
Stop this. That was their spiritual. That was their little break that they got to. Now, what happens is the black male, even through Christianity, going to a black church right now. As soon as you open the door, what you gonna see? A bunch of black men in there crying for no reason.
Wow.
You're just crying. That's the weakest. You go in the church right now, you're gonna see a whole bunch of black men crying.
Wow. Ariel is real quick. Ariel, what is Aurelius? Mr. Goldman. He says, what position are you running for? I'm running for mayor of the city of Newark. Thank you for asking. But Tormel, just to get back to what you were saying, I want to add Linda's.
That's a vote right there, Ariel. He better vote.
Yeah, because he said, yeah, and you have to vote like your life depends on it, because this guy is got to go, and it's not anything personal. It's just that the agenda that he's pushing is just not community friendly at all. Like I said, we have so many people who don't have a home. We have so many people who are literally living out in the street. We don't get like anything is happening to us here. I mean, with housing, with the water, with whatever, and there is no access to this guy. Like, even if you see him, he doesn't even speak. So we need to have access. Like, people need to understand. Like, oh, the mayor. We have a mayor here. Like, that's part of it.
A lot of times, like I said, they get intoxicated. That's another reason why I'm not into running into. I don't need to be like the man like that does nothing for me, especially not gonna affect change outside of it. Now, not saying that we don't need us in there, but once you get in that position and the people that you expect to hold you accountable, when you start dismissing them, that's the problem. It's not the problem isn't everybody agreeing with him or not agreeing with him.
Right.
It's the ones that don't agree with him being dismissed.
Bam. That's it.
That's it.
That's my whole issue. My thing is, we may not always agree. Like when
you become there, people aren't gonna agree with it. But you know what your job should be.
Yeah.
They say, all right, well, you don't agree with me, but watch what I'm doing, and I'm gonna show you why you should.
Right.
I'm gonna make mayors. Once that person don't agree with me, push them to the side. Security, go get escort them out, instead of saying, I don't like Tormel. Yeah, you used to be this, you used to be that. You sit back and watch. You wait.
Oh, this guy's
they might not understand.
Yeah, he's insane. He bumps people when he doesn't like them, literally. And I can say that publicly now, because not only has it happened to me, but it's happened to a bunch of people, and they're talking.
Bumps them?
Yeah, he literally, he'll bump you. Yeah.
Can he fight?
It's actually a thing, right? It's actually a thing. Like right now, and I had COVID twice. I beat COVID twice. I was literally what do you call it? Like blocked from commenting on the COVID lives every day. How do you do that to the residents, right? Then I'm blocked from the city hall website. So you really took the time to go in.
Well, you got to understand when people, and I don't know the guy. I don't, when people act like that, there's something real depressing going on that you don't see.
Right.
If you happy, you can. It's impossible for you to act like that.
It's just that you don't want to hear anything that doesn't go along with your narrative. And like I said, and as long as it's said respectfully, you should be able to hear it. So that's one of my pet peeves. The disrespect that goes along.
Here's the problem with that. I'll tell you, that happens instantly.
Right.
When you keep a circle of people around, that's that yes man syndrome. You really, no, seriously. That's real. Like, I agree. If you every day, every idea you come up with, everybody around you saying that's the greatest idea in the world, and you believe it. So you're talking about all week long, everybody saying, yo, you're brilliant. Oh man, I want to do this. Oh yeah, let's go there. You say a joke, everybody laughs. I mean, it happen. So when you go to somebody, you say a joke and they don't laugh, you got something wrong. They're deranged. Get them away.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Because people, a lot of people can coon themselves around people who could only dare. And guess what? When that reality shifts, they become almost suicidal. When the same person that had been laughing at you for 2-3 years, now you're out of position, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, now you're finally out of position, and they don't laugh at you at all. That really becomes. It's bigger than having a mayoral run.
Right.
It's about when you're not the mayor. Here's the thing: you be the mayor, so when you're not the mayor, you can still walk. Like I say what you want about. I've never met him either, Mayor Sharp James, but they say he's still good.
Yeah,
like people still love him.
Listen, I never had an issue with Sharp James ever. Sharp James, when Sharp James was in charge of the city, there was democracy. I mean, there were times City Hall would say that at 1-2 o'clock in the morning arguing an issue, but everybody's voice was heard. Everybody. Now, once you hear people's voice, even if you make a decision, because it's different voices, so everybody's not going to be happy, but it's just a point that you cared enough and you put in the time. Let me finish. To make a decision saying, okay, I've heard everything, so now this is where we're going. You can only respect that. You can't get mad at that. But that's not what's happening now. There are decisions being made that we're not even invited to be a part of. Like right now, I could walk out of my house. I could go 2 blocks. It's development coming everywhere. I don't know what's going on. There was a time that we had to okay it. There's meth clinics in the community. We're all homeowners. Why aren't we able to weigh in on that? Even our block hasn't been paved, and it's almost like a pool, if you will, like a sinking spot, really huge in our street. It won't get fixed just because we were inviting him to come to a meeting pertaining to some very legitimate environmental issues. So it's that it's not about disrespect. It's about, we don't even want to hear you. I don't care what the issue is. We don't want to hear you. So, to that end, we just need to, change out what we're doing. And like I said, if I get in there and people don't like what I'm doing, you can change me out too. Because one of the things I definitely want to fight for is term limits. I don't ever want to see a city where our kids can't come back and run for office because people who are sitting in office are sitting there to their 60, 70, 80, 90 years old. That's ridiculous, Wow. So we want to change that. We want to make sure that there's opportunities for our kids to come back in our community. And right now, it's no opportunities for them. It's none. So we want to make sure that we change that, right? And even the messaging that comes from the 24 hours of peace, and if I could just touch on that for a minute, it's so different. It's very different now. It's very different. It's very commercialized, if you will. And I don't know if the messaging is being sent to the young people that need so desperately to be sent, to literally stop the killing. And not just for 24 hours, but just all the messaging that's centered around that. It's just different now. It's a different narrative. So with that being said, Tormel, I don't know if you want to add any last comments. I think that Again, you guys did a yeoman's job in Bridgewater. Are you going to be going there again? And how can people find out when you're going so that they can be participatory?
I think the street aspect is done. A certain point where you just beating a dead horse. I think it's more internal now. So if I do go back to Bridgewater, it'd be through council meetings. Address the city council on a few things. And what proactive measures they've been taking thus far. So yeah, I don't think I'll be in the streets. Now unless the brothers want to come, the brothers they energize, they want to hit the streets again. So we'll see. But overall, I want to go inside the building and
Okay. Tormel, where can people find you? Where can they reach you if they want to see more about your activism, more about what you're doing to support communities across the globe?
Well, you can go on social media. You can go, Tormel Pittman, Instagram, Tormel P. What else? Yeah, Instagram, Tormel P, and that's it. You type my name in, you'll find all that.
Okay. I mean? Listen, I just want to tell you, somebody said the youth is desensitized. Absolutely. And that's another show for another day that we need to go, because we really do need to address that. Good point, Linda. So I just want to thank everybody for coming out, because we did go to an hour and a half. So I want to, bring it to a close. Just Tormel, thank you again so much for coming out, having this conversation with us.
When you become mayor, I'm moving to North.
Okay, please do, because we need you. We need you. We need as many positive, incredible men on the ground helping as possible. And we want to open that up, and again, open the door to that, right? So again, thank you for joining us. Thank you to each and every one of our listening audiences. If you have not shared the live, please do so. And until next time, we're going to come on soon with some other issues. And if there are any issues that you want to learn about or you want us to talk about, I have a huge network of people who are really phenomenal in all aspects of things to help us grow and learn and develop. So let me know. And until next time.
Hey, real quick, you want to get Brother Africa there?
I would love to have him. I don't have his information. So let's set that up.
I'll send it to you.
Let's set that up.
Thanks. All right, sis.
Thank you for joining W.A.G.E this evening, everybody. Bye-bye. Peace.